All right, coming up on today's podcast, we're going to be talking to probably the very first brewer, may I say, in Schenectady.
Well, first brew pub.
First brew pub. Yeah, they did food and brew beer.
Yes.
So, yeah, they were on the cutting edge of this this whole craft revolution that's been going on. So that's coming up here in the next few seconds.
The Capital Brew Podcast with 20 North Dave and Nick Lee. What's brewing in the 518?
All right, Dave. We are at Mad Jack in Schenectady, sitting down with Brian, the head brewer. How are you doing, Brian?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going today?
Not too bad. Yeah.
For those of you who do not know, Mad Jack Brewery is a part of the Van Dyke restaurant.
Yes.
On Union Street in Schenectady. A fairly well-known building from back in the day. It was a very prominent jazz club starting in the late 40s.
It's haunted.
That's what they say.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been here.
I don't know who they is. I think it's mostly the staff here. I'm here more than anybody. I've never seen any ghosts, so I don't know.
I've been here with the psychics.
I figure you have enough beer here, you're going to be seeing just about anything.
Entirely possible. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
Are we gonna do our first
do
beer?
our usual. Well, we're gonna do our usual thing. We're gonna talk about 3 beers and this and that. But I did want to ask a couple questions here for those of you out there, in terms of how did you get into brewing? What brought you to the brewing?
Well, I mean, I had always had an interest in beer. I mean, my entire life. Some of the earliest baby pictures that you'll see of me are my grandfather feeding me a bottle of Budweiser and the family laughing in the background. So I would just say it's always kind of been an important part of my life. I've just always had a very big interest in it. And as time went on, I had worked like different jobs. I'd bartended and, started to get into home brewing. And it just developed into a curiosity that developed into kind of an obsession kind of thing. So about 5-6 years ago, I basically started to think, well, I would like to do this professionally.
Oh, yeah.
And if I could get paid to do this, I'd be a happy camper for the rest of my life. The old saying, the old cliche, like if you do what you love, you don't actually work any day in your life.
Not a day in your life.
No, I'll tell you what, man, no matter what happens here, no matter how bad the day is, I really just don't feel like I go to work. Because there's always a good beer at the end of the day, and it's something I made, and that's got
to be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Did you learn in particular from someone, or was there someone that had some influence, or did you, just basically read up on it and experiment?
I am actually, I would call myself a case of I can't thank the people enough who have given me an education on this. A couple of them are people who have worked here before. And a big part of it was actually the SCCC craft brewing training course over at Schenectady Community College area. Yeah.
How long is that course?
So my certification was actually a trade certification. It was 15 weeks, 2 nights a week.
Full semester.
Yep.
All right.
So, and Rich Michaels, who's over at Frog Alley right now, he was actually one of the instructors, along with Christian Ryan, who works down at Crossroads down in Athens.
Yep.
So, you can't learn from 2 better people, like how to brew beer. Obviously, Christian's been all around the world doing stuff, and Rich is probably one of the smartest people in the industry today. So,
if you can hear him.
That's amazing. That's amazing. A lot of people don't realize that SCCC has great programs.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that they had a brewers program. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So basically anybody. It's obviously you don't have to be matriculated or anything like that.
No, plus, if you have the interest in it, and you have the money and the time to spend on doing the course over there, it's 100% worth it. There's not too many days where I come in here and I'm not doing some sort of process that can, trace its information back to the class. So I've got nothing but good stuff to say about it.
Especially with your 1 barrel.
Oh, yeah, the little guy back there. Yeah. So what he's referring to, we run on a 10-barrel system here, a barrel being 31 gallons. But I have a little 1-barrel fermenter back there that I get to try some fun stuff out on, and party robot. You don't have to commit to a full 300 gallons of something that might end up sucking. So
which rarely does it sucks. I'm sure.
Well, if it sucks, it doesn't hit the tap lines. So,
and to the best of our knowledge, you're the first brewer that we spoke to that actually has that capability to produce a small batch like that.
I mean, I don't know who else you've talked to, so, yeah.
Not a whole lot yet.
Yeah. The list is long but distinguished.
It's our 3rd week anniversary. He hates when I point out how
now, for those of you out there who probably don't know this, Brian wasn't the original brewer here at Mad Jack Brewing Company. So obviously there was established recipes. How was it coming into a brew pub brewery with somebody already having made a lot of their beers? How was it dealing with that?
Well, I mean, obviously not everything can be 100% my own creation, doing it, coming into a situation like that. But you get to make little changes here and there. So some of our more established recipes, like the Mont Pleasant Porter, the Pinhead Pilsner, the Dutchman Lager, and the Fightin' Irwin IPA, have been on tap here for several years. But one of the men responsible for a lot of those recipes was Drew Schmidt, who's also over at Frog Alley, and also one of the men that I forgot to credit before for helping me out with the education here. I mean, he taught us how to brew. He taught us how to do pretty much everything on the system here. So, can't thank him enough. But talking to him about the recipes, it's not like he was like, change it, do whatever you want, So,
what's funny too is that if you go into a bar and you ask for a Fighting Irwin, sometimes people are like, what? Like the Fighting Irwin. What? No, that one right there. Oh, you want Mad Jack?
Yeah.
Like that beer is so popular, people don't even know the name of it because they just call it Mad Jack. It's like the face of this.
I've actually been out at restaurants around the area that have that beer on tap, and I've overheard that conversation at bars before. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit on us here for maybe not doing too much of the brand work that needed to be done on that, or maybe it's a testament to just how good the beer is, or something.
I think that's what
don't
it
really
is.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, I guess we're going to get into our usual routine of tasting some beers.
Let's do it.
And
My favorite
our
part.
usual process is we're going to ask Brian his favorite, the most popular, and what's coming up next. What's going to be new? What is new, or what's going to be new? Now, I believe what we have in front of us is the Pinhead Pilsner.
Yes, sir.
And this is your best seller?
I would absolutely say it's probably our best seller.
Ahead of the Fighting Irwin IPA?
If not ahead of it, definitely on par with it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
it's grown by leaps and bounds over the past couple of years. We didn't always. I say we. Just referring to the history of the brewery here. We didn't always have a Pilsner on tap. It was actually a brewer came in about 2015, 2016, right before I had come on, who had decided that he wanted to make a Pilsner. So I'm very happy he did. I've definitely changed the recipe a lot since then, but it definitely laid the groundwork for having this as one of our core brands.
Okay.
So,
Speaking of that, why don't you tell us a little bit about the recipe or your process in deciding what it was going to be?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the malt part of the recipe is simplicity itself. It's literally just Pilsner malt, very lightly kilned, very light crackery flavor. I mean, it is 100% that malt in the recipe. One of the things that people appreciate the most about Pilsners is that there really isn't any room to hide your flaws in it. For an IPA, you can throw hops on hops at it, if the recipe's bad.
Or a darker, beer with a lot of flavor you can mask.
You can mask. You definitely mask your process flaws with other styles. With this kind of style, there's nowhere for an imperfection to hide.
Yep.
So that's one of the things I appreciate about it. The previous brewer had used a lot of I would say less aromatic hops in the process, and I had decided that I had actually wanted something a little bit more of a punch to it, just to make it kind of stand apart from a lot of different commercial examples of Pilsners that you'll see out there. So this one in particular has a hop called Hallertau Blanc in it. And the tasting notes, it's a German-based hop, and the tasting notes suggest that you would taste something of citric and white wine and gooseberry and all sorts of descriptors that you can get at different points while you're tasting it as it warms on your tongue, and
A little bit of that slate taste too.
I'm sorry?
That slate taste?
Yeah. And I can't say enough good things about it. We actually dry hop it to a much lesser extent than you would pale ale or an IPA or anything like that. But there is still a little bit of late fermentation, hop action going on there. So you get a lot of cool tasting notes out of it.
I definitely notice, when people drink a Pilsner, they think of just a light beer, with not a lot of flavor, a lot of carbonation. This flavor, I notice, almost like you said, you mentioned the hops. I almost notice an IPA. I obviously know it's not an IPA, but IPA type flavor. It's very faint, but you definitely notice it.
The piney,
especially
the citrus.
A little bit. And when you're expecting, most people are expecting in a Pilsner almost, like I hate to say this, but like a light beer.
Yeah.
A traditional light beer, which is not even a Pilsner.
Which might be a lot of people's expectation coming in, I mean, it is kind of like our gateway beer compared to a lot of the other stuff that we have on tap. Somebody comes in looking for a Coors Light or something like that.
The
we try to
marijuana
direct
of the
them
beer.
that way. Yeah. Hey, every beer's got its time in this place.
But it's definitely refreshing in terms of...
Refreshing and crisp.
Refreshing and crisp, especially in terms of, it's actually got flavor. So when you go in and say, hey, I want a light beer, but I want it to have some taste, I would say this is definitely right up that alley.
And that's exactly what people look for when they're looking at a Pilsner or a light beer. They want something that's refreshing and crisp.
Crisp. It's delicious.
No, the whole listeners are going to have to wait because we have to finish like a pint and a half of beer each.
Yeah, normally we do like 3-ounce samplers. This is like straight up a pint.
Yeah, you can't see anything right now, but I poured buckets for these guys, so that's my bad.
That's all right.
I thought we were having a party. You said it was a podcast. I don't hear too well. So.
Party, podcast. What's the difference?
But yeah, it's very crisp and flavorful without being like having like a lot of aftertaste. That's sometimes a problem when you add a lot of flavor or a lot of what you're looking for in that flavor. It just stays with you. I like the fact that it's not with you. It ends pretty cleanly.
It's definitely a good palate cleanser beer. Yeah.
Oh, that's
this is not this isn't like a 11% barley wine that you're going to be chewing on for 5 minutes afterwards.
What is the general percentage? I have no. What's the alcohol?
The ABV
percentage?
on this one is an even 5.0,
which is higher than most like regular American
for light
beers.
beers. Yeah, for
light
an
beers.
American light lager, you would probably skew more towards 3.5 to 4.5 around there. But for this is a German style Pils. So I mean, it can go upwards of 6%, before you start going past the BJCP guidelines, the Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines for different beer styles and stuff like that. So
speaking of
middle of the road, sure.
This is perfect for your summertime, hanging out by the pool, eating burgers at the grill. People coming over.
I've been known to do that. That's true.
Going back to what we did previously, a pairing. What do you think you would pair with something like this? Something spicy?
It's funny. I was thinking that actually one thing I noticed yesterday is our last podcast is that when we were pairing barbecue foods, I found that the Pilsner would cut the spice out of something where ale is kind of amplified.
Yeah,
the spice. So I think the Pilsner would be good if you want to have some hot wings.
I wasn't going there, I wasn't trying to.
No, that's fine.
Was this a plug? Was this whole thing just a plug?
Hot food. Now, come on.
I mean, if you're going to be sitting over at 20 North Broadway having some delicious hot wings, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. But could you not find this beer on tap?
You could, as a matter of fact.
Is this beer not on tap right now?
Yep, for the very same reasons we discussed. Summertime. And of course, now, excuse me.
Squatch
you
rings.
Realize that everybody is forced to eat outside.
Yeah.
And when you want to eat outside, and it's hot, and you're eating hot food, I said to these guys. Actually, I didn't talk to Brian. I believe I was talking to Mike Daniels from Dyck. We wanted to have a local beer on, and he said, "Well, I got this, and this," and he said Pilsner was one of them. I go, "So that's perfect.
Yeah,
it's exactly what we want." Now, come fall or come winter, when the temperature changes, and I don't know what we're going to do for dining at that point. But, we would probably move to, a fall beer, an Oktoberfest, or, like Brian mentioned, a Harvest, but we'll get into that, or even a pumpkin ale.
Yeah.
Maybe
something smoky, too, that you could have around a campfire, like maybe you put a big bonfire back there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it's not legal to have giant bonfires.
In the middle of Schenectady by the fire tracks.
But
that'll be
if
fun
they let
for
us
the
do
Amtrak
it,
customers coming in, Welcome to Schenectady.
Tracks.
On your left, you'll see a giant tire fire that
the
used to be
Springfield
20
tire
North Broadway.
fire.
Yeah, the Springfield tire fire.
Hold on, little dude. All right, we're not going there. You're going to have to edit that out.
But since we have...
That wasn't a bad Otto impression.
Oh, hey, man. Smells like Otto's jacket.
What smells like Otto's jacket? Tastes like burning.
The principal's going to smell like hot dogs.
So while we still have some beer left to go, there is something I would like to, we're talking about the certifications and stuff like that. There are very few breweries that can can boast the fact that they've won multiple medals through the New York State Brewers Association.
On Tap New York, was it? Where you going?
Well, the two big ones that we usually talk about here in the state are the New York State Brewers competition run by the State Brewers Association. Yeah. They do a lot of good work. We can't thank them enough for everything they've done for us through the pandemic. Just information, basically in the ear of the governor and everybody that he's got around him trying to help us out. So I just wanted to throw that shout out there, just in case anybody's listening.
Plus, it helps then they give you a bunch of awards, too.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly is the awards that you guys earned?
So the most recent one that we got was actually done as a collaboration beer. We called the beer Stomping Grounds because the collaboration was done with the Albany Pump Station over at C.H. Evans Brewery. And the brewer that we were working with was none other than Sam Pagano, who had previously worked here at Mad Jack, hence the name Stomping Grounds. Okay. So we had basically set out to make a kind of a fun variation on a crazy hoppy New England IPA, and instead we treated it as a lager, actually used some lager yeast on it. And, it just ended up being the smoothest, hybrid style that you could possibly have. I mean, there just shouldn't be this much hop punch in a beer that tastes this smooth, that goes down this smooth. And so we had actually gotten a gold in the collaboration category and a bronze in the IPA variation catery for that beer. And so
that's pretty awesome.
We're pretty proud of it.
How many brewers are there in New York?
Oh, there's over over 400 now.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a ballpark. I'm sure if anybody from the Brewers Association is listening, I know Kevin Mullen over at Rare Form, as we were talking about earlier.
He's probably screaming at the radio.
He's like
432.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Kevin. How you doing, man?
The other two are going to be your favorite and the new one. So what is your favorite?
Currently on tap, my absolute favorite thing that we have is the Washed Out. It's a Belgian white ale that's been dry hopped with lemon drop hops, coriander, lemon peel, orange peel, and grapefruit peel.
Wow.
So
I think I tried that last time.
Nice.
Right?
So what'd you think?
Oh, that was good.
Man, I was drinking last time you were here. You expect me to remember what you had? I don't even remember what I had.
How did you add the peel? How do you add during what part of the process, and how do you add it? Raw form,
we get a lot of stuff that we get through Brewer Supply Group and Country Malt Group. They're basically they supply they supply a lot of the breweries around the country on a larger scale than a lot of the smaller stuff that you'll get. But so you can buy dried versions of of different fruit peels and stuff like that, and all variety of spices. I mean, they basically sell you anything under the sun that you could possibly put in beer. So
and at what point of the process do you want to add that stuff?
It depends on what kind of flavor profile you're going for. I definitely wanted to push it as much as possible, so we actually add all those peels and spices during the boil. We'll add all those peels and spices during the whirlpool process, which is a post-boil, a little bit reduced temperature before it hits the heat exchanger and goes into the fermenter. Yep. And then we'll do it again at fermentation temperatures right before cold crashing the beer and carbonating and kegging it. So.
Do you find that the yeast uses up and eats the fruit itself, like the sugars in the fruit?
There is a certain low amount of sugar and stuff like that. I mean, there's actually even small amounts of sugar available in the hops themselves. Okay. So I mean, you can definitely get a little bit of extra fermentation out of stuff like that. With hops in particular, people in the industry call it hop creep, because a beer that is seemingly at terminal gravity, if you added hops to it still at fermentation temperatures, the yeast will actually kick back into gear to pick up and eat the rest of that residual sugar.
You mean once you've stopped them, you can restart them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zombie yeast.
Yeah, right. Good. Awesome. All right. We can, like I said, I was just curious about that stuff. And what in particular is the new one coming out? We'll obviously visit it again. This will probably be edited a little bit, but I'm just for my own.
Well, the newest thing that I have on tap today, harkening back to the Mad Science things that we were talking about, is actually a Mad Science small batch version of the washed out Belgian white that actually has also been co-fermented with blackberries. So that'll probably be the new one.
Awesome.
Now, did you say you're doing that in a small batch, or you're doing that in a full batch?
That is a small size.
So that's the 31 gallon.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we have a very limited amount of that. Just hit taps today. So I've only taken a little taste of it so far. So it'll be fun. This will be a learning experience for everyone.
Yeah.
But now for the listeners and possibly customers, that's going to be a short run. There's not a lot there. What is a new beer that's coming out that's a full run?
Full run is going to be our Oktoberfest style beer. That's going to be hitting the taps on Monday. Should I get a taste of that off the
If we can, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
heck yeah.
We
can
just
definitely
need to run
do that.
back there and get her.
There's no hurry.
I
now.
thought we were just talking stuff on tap.
We can. It doesn't matter. We're wide open here.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's excellent. You mentioned that because that's a great, unique beer. But 31 gallons isn't going to. That's basically two half kegs. It's 2 half kegs. That's not a lot. Like I said, for the listeners, I'm sure they're going to want to know whether or not what kind of fall beer you're doing.
Absolutely.
Now, my question is, for those of you listening, what it makes an Oktoberfest? Where does it fall in terms of ale, lager?
Well, technically, you can't really call a beer an Oktoberfest style beer unless you're actually brewing it in the city confines of Munich, Germany. So, pretty much every other place.
It's like the champagne thing. You can't call champagne.
Yeah, it's not
Sparkling
cognac unless
wine.
it comes from
So
that kind
it's a
of thing.
sparkling fall beer if we were to make
Yes,
beer.
absolutely.
Sparkling fall beer. So either way, now regardless of what you can call it, what makes an Oktoberfest? What's different about it in terms of, obviously, it was always a fall beer. There must be some reason. Is it the fact that they're using ingredients that matured in the fall, the harvest, or,
Well, actually, a lot of the history that comes behind this beer for the Marzen or Marzen style of lagers, Marzen derives its name from the fact that this beer was brewed in March. And it was basically cold conditioned in lagering caves for several months to smooth out and get ready for actual Oktoberfest as it happens in September. So
the beer was actually started in March. And
long time ahead.
You let it age until the October is when it's ready.
Yep.
So that's why it
definitely made as a festival style beer. But there's another style also called the Fest beer, which is usually a little bit lighter than the Marzen style.
Okay.
So Oktoberfest can skew anywhere in between like those two styles, basically. And so the Marzens will definitely be a little bit heavier, like in the malt, like maybe a little bit darker, a little bit more robust. Fest beers are more, I wouldn't call them closer akin to light styles like Pilsner or anything like that, but they're more in that direction. And so it's actually kind of interesting because I kind of brewed mine to be kind of like a hybrid in between the two. It's definitely got a lot of the same flavors. It's definitely got the drinkability of a Fest beer, but it's definitely still got a lot of those real nice caramel notes from a Marzen style. So
nice.
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I figured to get that out there.
Yeah.
For me, I had no idea that was true about Oktoberfest beers. I always assumed Oktoberfest beers were Oktoberfest because they used ingredients from the end of the year, the harvest, whenever, September.
It's not.
But it started in March.
Yeah.
So obviously,
traditionally in the old world style, that was
so
when they would
obviously
start their Marzen styles.
You're not using fall harvest stuff when it started in March. Yeah. Okay. I never knew that.
So your fall beer was born in spring.
Basically, yeah. A lot of places nowadays, we definitely started ours a little bit earlier, but because we wanted to lager it and let it smooth out for, cold condition for a month or so. So I actually brewed this beer last week of May, first week of June, I can't remember. So it's been sitting back there for a decent chunk of time, definitely not since March, but the modern craft brewery can't really, you can't sacrifice the tank space.
That much time, yeah.
So, but... you'll go around the area and you'll see a lot of different people brewing this beer a lot of different ways, So, we try to treat ours with at least 50% of the old world respect that we can possibly give it. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
So I hope it doesn't suck because I've tied up this tank back there for a long time.
Well,
So.
You're going to have to get a lot more smaller tanks.
Yeah. Yeah, when COVID hit, I tried working from home. It didn't really work out for me. I was trying to, 5 gallons at a time on the stovetop and just bringing it in here, but it didn't really work out. So,
That was short-lived.
I was sure it would work too, but man,
we had a table of 4. The player's gone.
Oh God!
All right, this time I recommend we go for. I would like to try that blackberry one for sure.
We can do
absolutely.
both.
And actually, because I have a little thing that we've been doing with the Belgian white back here. I'll make sure yes, we're gonna do some small ones though.
Some small ones, please. Now this is the
That's the blackberry version of this beer.
of the wit, right? The wit.
And here comes the wit.
Viaves.
Very witty.
Making you talk.
Start with the actual wits themselves.
All right, that sounds good.
9.
No, I'm okay. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I get in her way all the time.
I definitely could drink that beer just sitting here for several hours. That beer is an excellent drinking beer.
At 5%
So
too.
one thing that we've been doing with
Hold on, let's grab your mic because I want the
You're about to say
the
something
frickin'
important.
general public to hear it. Oh yeah, Billy. You're walking around with a bunch of champagne. Bill Mack,
Yeah.
Billy McDonald, the owner. Yep, it's the good stuff. Was it J. Roger?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the good stuff.
just an average Wednesday here.
Just an average Wednesday.
Champagne party.
Going over here, boys.
It's going excellent. You want to hop in? All right, now we are welcoming to the show Billy McDonald,
The owner.
and operator of Mad Jack Brewing Company and the
And-
Van Dyke Restaurant.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Staple of Schenectady.
Yes.
All right. So actually, since we have you here, I know that my partner here is dying to know about the series that I did, some videos I shot here with Katie Manning and D. Scott
right.
and
Yep.
the guys over at
Now, before you get into that, because we're all interested, why don't we have Billy give us a quick overview of the Van Dyke in general?
Sure, the history.
Give us a little background. on
Just
the,
a little history. So this was two
Yep.
houses back in the early 1800s.
Yep.
And then Marvin Friedman opened it up in 1947. He opened it up as a jazz club down here. He ran it for numerous years. He ran it very successfully. He did a great job. The jazz was actually downstairs. He gave it to his nephew, Don Wexler, and he ran it successfully to the 80s, and then it went vacant. And then they reopened it in the mid-90s. They put the brewery in out back. 4 owners. They put the brewery in out back, and they relocated the jazz upstairs. They put all this beautiful woodwork in.
Okay.
They ran it successfully for numerous years. And then my family, we came in 2008, purchased the building. 2009, we reopened.
Nice.
And then we reopened the brewery in 2011. So it's
Awesome.
kind of 3 phases. We got the restaurant reopened, we got the entertainment venue reopened, and then the brewery was the 3rd phase.
How were the two buildings set up? Were they front to back here? Built
No, they're side by side.
Side by side.
So
Okay.
if you look over there, that wall over there,
Yeah.
that small, where the coat room is,
Yes.
that was the entrance
Okay.
to
All
the
right.
one house.
Okay.
Our address is actually 235, 237 Union.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, and then there's the 2 fireplaces in there. Remember, that's how they heated the
Yeah.
houses
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep.
So there's 2 fireplaces there. And then the upstairs, there's 2 fireplaces in the upstairs room. So that house was a little more narrow.
Yeah.
And then that's right where the phone booth is from the greatest bar in Schenectady, the Park Inn, 300 Michigan Avenue.
wow.
The PI.
The PI, that the PI phone booth there. That's where the was separated there.
All right. Now, thank
got
you for the little history.
Little
but,
history.
Now, I'm curious. I'm sure some other people are. There's been rumors that this building is haunted. Would you care to elaborate? Have you seen anything?
No.
How do you feel about it? It sounds to me there's some skepticism in your voice.
Well, let's just say this. We've heard a lot of the rumors. I have never seen anything, but I do not like being in this building by myself late at night when I've had to run upstairs all the way
All
up,
the way
third-
upstairs,
all the way
yeah,
upstairs.
yeah,
Very
Because I-
narrow stairs too, by the way.
That's right. When I've run,
Anything can happen.
and things are, there's sounds, there's noises, creaks and cracks and everything. It's a little.
It's an old building.
It's an old
A lot
building,
of history
and it
here.
fits the persona of being haunted. But I personally have never seen anything. But I like to say that the ghost, if he or she is here,
They're very mellow.
They drink really well.
Nice.
They're free to drink. Brian's phenomenal beer.
The food is awesome.
The food, they eat and drink really well, so that's why they behave.
Now, like I said, I was here with the Psychics Unseen.
Okay, now yes.
That's another podcast. We were here with two psychics, Katie Manning and Michelle. Also, D. Scott from Kiss 123. We were upstairs in the music venue, and they used divining rod with some kind of rods.
Divining rods.
Yeah,
there's like the two rods that are at an 90-degree angle, and you hold them in each hand.
And you ask it questions if it does certain things. So
I don't know if you have to ask it questions. Apparently, a presence or something would cause the divining rods to move.
They were asking it questions, so if it crossed, it meant like yes. If they opened up, that was no.
That seems a little specific.
Yeah, they were yes. But so they got something on that. And the divining rods were moving, but really, what one thing that happened is we had some crew that was here, and as they're in the middle of like trying to talk to the ghost that was here, I guess one of the crew members, family members, was like standing behind her and saying stuff. So she started talking to this ghost that was related to one of the crew members here. So there was some pretty exciting stuff.
All right.
Katie, when Katie's here, she always gets.
I was just about to ask. How about any employees?
Yeah,
I mean, some certain employees.
No, well, Katie
Manning Hilton.
Okay,
she's a psychic. Oh, no,
okay, but I mean, do any?
She's here. Any of the employees? We haven't in our 11 years. We haven't had any reports.
No, just curious.
Oh, Casey's terrified of the upstairs. I think she just doesn't want to do any computer work up there.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah. They don't want to go up to the third floor. We'll ask Jill. We'll get Jill on here next. And see what she has to say.
See what she's got to say.
She's shaking her head.
Sounds good.
Jill doesn't leave the first floor. Yeah. So,
no stairs for her.
No stairs.
She just doesn't believe in stairs. It's the craziest thing.
I wish I could take that approach. Now, out of curiosity, we asked Brian. We usually go through 3 beers. It's easier to do it that way, and our qualifications are: what's your favorite beer, what's the most popular beer, and the beers that's coming out next. Now, obviously, we went through that, but the question we can pose to you is, what's your favorite beer, and why?
That Brian's made, that we have on tap?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be what Brian made, just in terms of here. But obviously, it's relevant. Anything he's making is current.
Well,
or you can do both.
My favorite beer here is the blonde that he makes, the blonde that we currently have on tap. I'm in the light lager category, so he knows that. I like sweeter stuff, so the box.
Okay.
I want him to make a Doppelbock soon. Blonde, the Pilsner, it's fantastic. But some of the New England, the Mohawk Sunset, I've kind of gravitated a little towards the New England IPAs.
That's a New England style IPA as opposed to the Fighting Irwin, which is more of a traditional IPA.
More of a West Coast style.
Okay, all right.
Clean, clear, bitter. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that juicy, sweeter. But sometimes they're a little stronger, so I can't
can't indulge as much as you want to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
But that's kind of what I like. But my other beer out of this, I'm a big fan of Southern Tier.
Oh, nice.
And I like Blue Point. Blue Point Toasted Lager is my favorite beer.
Yeah. Where's Blue Point? Is it down in Long Island?
Yep, Long Island.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Still New York.
All right. What do you say we give? We're going to try now. We're going to move on and we're going to try this beer.
Let's try it. Which one?
This is your favorite.
This is my current favorite on tap.
Why don't you tell us about making it and what it entails?
Well, this all stems from my love for my all-time favorite beer style, which is Hefeweizens. I love very, very hazy, unfiltered wheat beers. I just love all the flavor that comes with them. So had basically based a Belgian white recipe off of the same grain bill that we had made our most recent Hefeweizen off of, and had brought back kind of an older recipe that we had made a couple of times in the past for a Belgian white, a spiced Belgian white. We had decided to kick this one up a little bit. Previously, we had used a fair amount of orange peel, lemon peel, and stuff like that. So we kicked this one up, and we actually added lemon drop hops, grapefruit peel, fair amount of coriander, along with that lemon peel and that orange peel. So and like we were talking about previously, we added a lot of times during the process, during the boil, during the whirlpool, during active fermentation, during the tail end of fermentation.
I love when he talks like that, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Brian.
Super sexy.
Yeah. It's funny. We came here for this conversation, pre-conversation, when I first introduced myself, and he was sitting here with his significant other, Nikki, and I made a mistake, and I said that, well, there's basically only 3 types of yeast, right? And he dropped down knowledge on me. And when he was finished, I said, I don't know what you just said, but it's probably the sexiest thing I've ever heard from one straight man to another.
I forgot what I said, man. I wish I had it on
I tell you, that's why we record it as soon as possible. All the best conversations are off air.
They are.
You'll have to walk around like Charlie from Always Sunny when he's doing the Serpico thing, and he's got the tape recorder taped around him.
You guys are both cheating. You guys are just taking sips of beer. I'm still waiting for...
Oh, sorry. Jeez. All right. Well,
I smell the wheat.
Cheers up here.
We're crushing this.
So, in my estimation, just...
It's nice.
Another... Going along with what we're talking about with the Pilsner, this is a really good poolside beer.
Yeah.
This is, a lot of the stuff that I've brewed during the summertime here has had the patio in mind.
Yeah.
So,
perfect.
Just trying to get stuff that you can drink very comfortably on an 85-degree day in the bitter summer heat.
I'm sorry, what was the alcohol content in this?
5.2.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed the spiciness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, those of you who've had a wheat beer or Weiss beer, they're traditionally like kind of sweet. I don't know if sweet is the right word, but...
Sweet, phenolic would be another word that you would use. That's due to the yeast strain that we use. It's a Bavarian wheat beer strain, and it actually throws off a lot of additional flavors that you're tasting on top of the coriander and the fruit peels and all that kind of stuff. So you're getting little notes of banana and clove, and some people say you get a little bit of bubble gum out of it.
Yep.
But
that's we talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
And these are flavors that you can manipulate with fermentation temperatures and pitch rates and stuff like that. So we actually underpitch our yeast on this.
Now, what does that mean?
We're actually adding less yeast to the beer when we're fermenting it than you usually would to get like a proper fermentation out of it. Because typically you're adding like so many millions or billions of cells of yeast per volume of beer and per Plato specific gravity of beer in order to get things to properly ferment. But we're adding a little bit less because we're actually purposefully stressing the yeast out a little bit.
Using it up mostly?
Yeah. And the more, the less that you have, the harder the yeast has to work, and the more esters and the more polyphenols that, off flavors in some respects if you're using different yeast strains. But with this particular one, the more that you can get out of it, the better. And so if you underpitch and you ferment at a high temperature, you can actually draw more and more of those actual desirable banana
spices,
clove
the clove.
flavors.
You definitely notice the clove.
Yeah. So
now, do you add the clove, or is it just a result of the yeast flavor?
That is just a byproduct of the yeast.
Okay.
So
right.
yeah. Fun little stuff.
Yeah,
so you have all those flavors playing along with the stuff that we purposely added. So it's neat. Yeah.
Now,
like a scientist, right, Dave?
Yeah, mad scientist.
That's right.
Now, while we're at it, we also have a similar beer, but it's a small batch. Why don't you tell us about this beer here?
So this side batch was actually taken about halfway through fermentation off into that side vessel that I have back there. Little 1-barrel vessel.
So basically, you took
the party robot.
You were making this white beer, this Belgian white, and
yes.
During the process, you took some off and put it in a separate tank, and then
what? So basically, it's no better time of year for fresh berries and fresh fruit. So blackberries are in the season right now. So just got a whole mess of those and mushed them up and threw them in there and let them co-ferment along with the white beer. And as you can see, well, you can't see.
I can see.
Oh yeah,
I'll take a photo.
Us sitting here can see.
People can go to
especially show them the comparison between the two
for sure.
Yeah,
same beer, just a couple different.
No, it's the same thing. The only thing you added was berries.
Berries.
So you did no yeast change, nothing like that.
No yeast change whatsoever. But this one doesn't actually have a lot of those ending spices that we did late fermentation for the actual main batch of the Belgian.
Is it
wine.
because of the berries themselves cover it, or is it because just the way the process that you did it?
I just kind of wanted to taste the blackberries on their own. There was already enough spices earlier in the process that I figured that was probably enough. So,
and if you'd like to see the photo of the difference between the two beers, head over to thecapitalbrewpodcast.com and check out the photos there.
Wow. There is not a lot of similarity in taste, even though it's almost the same beer.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Blackberries they're pungent. They're good. And
there's
as you'll
almost
see from the photo, they had a lot of they definitely had a lot of color. So.
There's almost a little sourness to it.
I was going to say, yeah.
You notice that?
Berries being as tart as they are.
Tart, yeah. And there's a lot
definitely,
of
definitely
absolutely.
Definitely going to drive that down a little bit. So, yeah.
But if the first one was drinkable on the patio, this one's drinkable on the beach. So
Yeah, I mean, and we've had a lot of, I don't know, I wouldn't use the term fruit beer, but beer that has fruit, fruit added. I will say this is probably one of the better ones in terms of the real fruit flavor coming out in the beer as that fruit.
Oh, very nice.
I've had, mango in particular I've had, and I've noticed that, this guy said he put so much puree in there that he almost, didn't have room for beer, and you really couldn't even taste it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like this, you immediately upon tasting it, you notice that blackberry, and then at the end of it, you get that tartness.
Yep.
Where you wouldn't even say it was the same beer as the Belgian
even.
white.
I mean, at this point in the process, it would be very tough. But certainly looks alone would lead you to that conclusion. But flavor-wise, blackberries can definitely overpower a lot of other flavors.
But it's not. But the blackberry is not overpowering in this beer. It's just I like to see that the fruit flavor is actually noticeable, rather than it's like a beer with some fruit flavor. This is almost like I'd say a fruity beer.
Yeah, fruit soda.
Yeah,
has alcohol in it, so might be a market for that. Who knows?
Probably.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
What happens if you mix the two
Make
together?
it into a seltzer.
Oh, if you mix the two together?
there you go.
Oh man,
I'm not gonna do
No,
that.
Don't get
do
crazy.
That. Yeah.
Jeez.
You can do like a black and tan with it.
Oh yeah. I don't think.
But
they'll-
yeah,
I think
that
they'll-
raspberry cuts all that spice right out. You don't even get any of that spice at all.
Yeah. I mean, going back to your point about the mango there, mango is definitely one of those fruits that if you're working with it, you've got to add a lot of it to actually get some flavor out of it. And, that's true about different fruits across the board. You can get a lot of flavor out of raspberry, and, you'll really struggle to get a lot of flavor out of peach.
Yes,
or
that was
strawberry
another
or
one
something like
that he mentioned.
Yeah.
He had a little an apricot. Peach and
Yeah.
apricot were very difficult to get into the flavor of the beer.
Peach by itself is definitely pretty hard to get the flavor out of, but for whatever reason, when you add apricots to peach, I've noticed before,
Magic Hat.
Magic Hat,
it
yeah.
just apricot
9.
brings out everything that you wanted about the peach flavor.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
I personally think that both peaches and apricots don't have a place in the beer world.
Don't put a place in what?
The beer world.
I'm not sure this is a forum for your opinion.
How do you feel about pineapple on
sorry.
pizza?
Oh, I love pineapple.
Oh, why don't you tell
Alright.
why don't you tell Brian about your pineapple? Might as well go over it again.
Yeah. So my favorite midnight snack is
Next up, politics.
Yes.
No, no.
Then followed by religion.
Yeah, fine. And then suicide.
So I have my favorite midnight snack is pineapple, but there's a small problem. I love pineapple in general. It's probably, if not my most favorite fruit. It's up there, and I'm allergic to it.
That's a midnight snack.
Dude, that
Yeah.
sucks.
And what happens is when I eat, my throat will actually start to swell up. There's a chemical in it called bromine, which is basically like straight acid.
Yeah.
So I can get a couple pieces in and I'm fine, but if I eat too much, then that's when I start running into problems.
And you just thought you had sleep apnea.
This is-
I said,
that
I'm
was
like,
literally your
you need
body just shutting up.
You need to change your midnight snack.
I know.
I mean, anything but pineapple.
I do. I
It's
have.
after a night at 20 North. He has his
Cold
pineapple
wings.
at midnight.
That's exactly it.
Unbelievable.
You know Dave doesn't like you anymore when he recommends the pineapple wings. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
over.
gonna mail you some pineapple juice. There you go. Drink up.
He just throws it on some wings. He's like, "Yeah, here's your pineapple wings."
If you were a Russian politician, you'd be especially easy to poison, I'm telling you.
Just send him a pineapple.
Topical humor. Oh, man.
I gotta say, I like this better than this. This better than this.
I can see it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Fresh on tap today.
Really came in
Yep,
today.
just
Oh,
came
no.
on today. So
Well, for those of you who are listening, you better get down here quick because
Yeah.
we're gonna start getting into it.
I still like the base Belgian white the best.
I don't know.
I don't
I really
know.
like. Now,
Yeah.
is this blackberry or black raspberry?
Blackberry.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I apologize if you already asked this question. Do you puree it or do you?
How did
I'd
you
actually
get,
just-
What'd you get it? Yeah, how'd you get it?
We had bought fresh berries and basically just mashed the ever-loving shit out of them, and frozen
blender.
them to further rupture the cells,
Yeah.
because that just increases your surface area, increases your juice and everything. Added them into the fermentation vessel, and then brought the beer on top of it and let it ferment out. So
Awesome,
yeah,
brilliant.
a lot of fun. little gassy. You all right?
Yeah, that's the problem about having a beer podcast is that I'm always
trying to drink a lot of beer.
You allergic to beer now
Rough
too?
life.
Probably.
I'm allergic to beer too. Every time I drink like 14 or 15, I always throw up.
Well, you got those people who are allergic to gluten.
Yeah.
Jesus.
God, those poor bastards.
Talk about a tough fucking. Jesus.
Our apologies to our gluten-free listeners out there.
Now, would you ever make a seltzer?
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
I got nothing against it.
At another establishment, and we did not realize that a seltzer just is produced essentially the same as a beer.
Yeah.
And you can use the same process, same tanks.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not using grains.
Yeah. Billy's asked me about it before. It just hasn't really come up in the brew schedule back there to actually commit. Like listeners out there weren't back in the brew house during the tour part, but I basically told the boys, we got a minimum on the system that we can brew. So if I'm going to commit to making 6-7 barrels of seltzer, it better come out good, otherwise I'm flushing 7 full barrels of seltzer
right out
of shit seltzer down the drain.
And you know what's funny is something we've talked about in back podcasts too is that for some places seltzers fly off the shelf. Some places just having Truly and White Claw is good enough, and then other places they'll get in the Grape Flats makes their weekend water.
Tom did a great job with that. I actually got a crowler downstairs of it.
So do I. Yeah,
it's delicious.
Now, is the weekend water the agave lime one?
That's both of them are weekend water. Or they're called the weekend waters. That's what their hard seltzer is. But
the other one was a strawberry rhubarb.
Both of them were, but they're both So one's agave lime, and the other one was the strawberry rhubarb.
Now we talked about that too. Committing, like you say, committing all that to a seltzer is tough, especially when generally your seltzer drinkers are can drinkers. It's almost as if they think to themselves, seltzer out of the draft. That doesn't seem right. I'll take it out of the can.
Yeah.
I told you I like to never.
Yeah. We talked to Jay Hunter yesterday. He's just like, I just don't have a place for it on a tap. I don't want to tap a tap using a seltzer.
He's got
such a big brew list over there.
Oh yeah.
From a technical standpoint, I have absolutely nothing against trying one. It's just a different type of process. I'll make just about anything. Billy a few months ago had actually asked me about if we can make sake. So
and people don't realize that sake is not wine or it's not liquor. It's actually beer.
It's actually a malt beverage.
Yeah.
Fermented with a type of mold from the research that I had actually done on it. So that was not really something that I wanted to introduce to the brewery back there. As confident as I am in my sanitation procedures, it just wasn't really something I thought was going to work out. And having to steam the rice and everything, it was going to end up plunking down another $10,000 worth of equipment to make a couple of barrels of something that probably would have sucked anyway.
And probably wouldn't sell. I don't think there's a real big market, here for that.
I'm not saying we can't change the image of the place here, but I don't know if Mad Jack 5 years from now is going to be known
Japanese
as a sake
steakhouse.
Bar. Yeah. So, Bill, you got plans to sell in this place you haven't told me about? Or? Jazz Fusion Brewery.
There you go.
Thai Bistro type.
137 is going to be like the Van Bushido or something.
Yeah. 237 Union Street is where we have the brewery. 235 is the sake bar.
Yeah. The old building.
Which I got to apologize to you, Billy. I found this out just a few minutes ago when you said it. I've been throwing all the mail away for 235 Union. So.
There's those
my bad.
Who the hell is occupant?
Don't they know there's no 234?
Jeez, they came by for the census. I just screamed them out of the building. Whatever.
They have been lingering for the census out there.
Oh, God.
So have we had Eric Ward on this yet?
He was with us briefly yesterday after
before we got hit with the thunderstorm.
We got run out of our podcast because we were outside and the storm came through.
Okay.
So
he got on. He said hello, and then the clouds
we
opened
had just gotten him on. Unfortunately, when the sky opened up.
So I'm actually going to go grab a sample of that Oktoberfest off of the fermenter there before we get too late here, because I notice our glasses are empty.
Yep.
So I'll be back in a minute here.
Pass this
down.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem, gang.
Thank you for giving me more than him.
Total accident.
Patting yourself on the back again. Okay.
I'll pour a little for Billy in case
in case he wanders back.
He is kind of a
maybe Peter will wander in at some point.
Perfect.
We can get their opinion of our Dog and Pony Show.
I poured him a few things off the tanks.
Now, what do we got right here? Now we're back.
Hitting taps
for all those. We're all back, and now this is our.
This is the Oktoberfest.
The new beer coming out.
Yep. This will hit taps on Monday. So, I mean,
this came right out of the
fermenter.
Yep. It has been cold conditioning back there for the past month or so. Fermentation time was mostly during the month of July, or month of June actually. So it's just about at the 2-month mark of cold conditioning, and it is. I mean, you tell me, but we'll take a sip of this. I think it's probably the smoothest thing on tap right now. So, just smooth,
it's not even
malty.
on tap yet.
Nope. Just so not fully carbonated. Probably the first thing that you notice, but just malt flavor wise.
I was going to say malty caramely.
Yeah, that's gonna be be pretty good in a Stein. I'll tell you.
I taste a little wheat.
No wheat. All barley, all German barley.
Why don't you tell us about this particular beer and Oktoberfest in general?
Mm-hmm. So, as I had mentioned previously, we made our Oktoberfest style beer to try and toe the line a little bit between a fest beer and a Marzen or a Märzen style. We tried to go for very good drinkability. A little bit on the lighter side while still maintaining a decent malt backbone. So we think we hit the nail on the head, going right in between those two styles and making a very, very good German style lager. And we used all German malt and German hops for this one because it's that time of year, So big fan.
Now, is it a German style, or you actually get it from Germany, or is it a German product?
I mean, you can't call it a German product, but I mean all the ingredients.
That's what I mean. The ingredients themselves are they German style, or are they actually the ingredients?
They
from
actually
Germany?
are. They come from the Best Malts, MALZ, Best Malts from Germany. Okay. So that's where we got all the malt from. Hops were also German Hallertau hops. So. Yeah, 50% of the stuff that goes in, most beers, according to the Reinheitsgebot, German purity law. So, I mean, obviously the water came from Schenectady.
Best water in the state. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Best water in the state.
That's all it did was make this beer better.
I mean, now that's an odd subject that I wanted to maybe not bring up today, but doing some research, I noticed, the best water isn't necessarily like spring water or natural water. The best water generally is good drinkable water, as I understand it.
It also depends on what kind of style of beer that
you want to make,
that you're going for. Yeah, I mean, if you look at beer in the context of history, there's a reason that
certain beers are from certain areas because of the water and the contents of the water.
I mean, the soft water profile of Czechoslovakia was very good for making pilsners. The hard water profile of somewhere like London was very good for making darker beers. Browns, porters, stouts, anything of that nature. And so it's funny to see that kind of stuff crop up throughout history. And finding out the reason for it, because the English probably couldn't make a pilsner to save their lives back in the 1600s.
They just didn't have the ingredients. They didn't have the correct water, and up until mid 19th century, you couldn't changing your water content was difficult. And
processes and styles would come and go. Lagers didn't really become popular in England until probably about late 19th century. Just looking back, so.
Now,
there's a lot of cool history.
How is Schenectady water as a starting water?
Absolutely great.
It is great.
A little bit on the hard side, but it has all the mineral content that you could possibly want to make a really, really good tasting beer. We treat ours a little bit. We do have a carbon filter back there that it basically cuts off anything coming into the building. So no, basically trying to strip chlorine and stuff like that out of it. So, but. Yeah, I would say there's probably no better water in the state right now. So, awesome. Very selfishly, I'm saying that. So.
Oh, no, you say that proudly.
Yeah.
We are the best water in the
Selfishness is a type of pride, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Now, I noticed a bit of like a soapy flavor. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's the right term. It's like, it's right when you take a sip.
Might have been a little bit of the late edition hops that I made.
Okay.
Hallertau hops do have a little bit of a floral characteristic to them. So I wasn't using them strictly for bittering. I was trying to use a little bit of them for more of an aromatic feel.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, without being fully carbonated and, perfectly on tap, it's kind of tough to say. I
now,
guess,
this is a little cloudy. Is this how it's going to be, or does it have to go through another filtering process?
This will go through the filtering process before it actually.
So
hits
we
the
have a
taps.
little bit of a raw beer,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah, I'd say it's 90% of the way there right
Okay.
now. Yeah, by Monday, I mean, you'll be looking at a different beverage, I'd say. So, yeah.
My biggest complaint is that it's gone.
Well, here you
well,
go.
we can fix that.
We
We're
just
at
so
the
happen to
brewery.
have a pitcher.
We were talking about that earlier. The pitchers out here. I mean,
You
this
can't
is-
see this at home, but I'm filling his beer with a pitcher.
and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, did a
actually,
very good job.
I didn't
Yeah,
really
you
think
know.
that brewers were very good bartenders.
Well, I was a shit bartender back in the day, which is why I'm a
Which is
brewer
why you're
now.
a brewer now?
Yeah.
Guess
I
I'm never
decided
going to be a brewer.
I was very, very bad at serving it, so I was like, well, I can try making
Making it.
So,
I haven't tried either.
I don't recommend it.
Well, I was saying
Either or.
I'd like to attempt. What do they call it? Like a stovetop still.
Yeah.
Like to try that.
Well, coming up here in the next few weeks, I'm hoping to do a podcast with a local home brewer that seems to be pretty well versed in his craft. So he's going to help us, let us know where to go and what are.
Well, fortunately now I'm getting a lot of input and meeting a lot of brewers around
Yeah.
here, so that if I do decide to do something like this, I know who to go to for advice.
Oh, for sure. But for as far as lower to where to get your equipment for home brewing, as opposed to a massive brewery, I think our guests will be able to help us with that kind of stuff.
Possibly, or I just steal it.
Good place, yeah, steal it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal.
Nothing cheaper than something free.
Kevin.
Maybe I can find one at a garage sale,
Sure.
or I'm sure there's something on eBay, but it's
Oh
out.
yeah. Just stop at the local
Set up an alert on Craigslist.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is that you have to deal with people on Craigslist.
Facebook
Yes, see,
Marketplace.
that's the drawback is dealing with Craigslist.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Kevin McClurkin is been what's the word? Preaching pretty hard.
Eating
that
in
he
his house?
Yeah, preaching pretty hard that he needs to have his own beer, and so
Oh yeah,
So I'm saying, instead of brewing it and doing all that stuff, why don't we just, like I said to you yesterday, I will gauge our success as a podcast when we actually have a beer named after the podcast. So
that's very ambitious.
hell yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Capital Craft Brew Podcast Oktoberfest will hit taps this Monday.
Yeah.
So, congrats, you
My
made
life
it. You made
is
it, boys.
complete.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I can die happy now.
All right. Let's retire. I think.
Oh, this isn't making you any money. Don't worry about it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Anything, it's free beer.
Yeah.
Until he hands us a bill at the end of the show.
That'll be 6 pitchers of beer.
I don't remember ordering the filet, but just pay for it, I guess. Yeah. Yes. Let's pour a little bit more here.
Yes, nothing wrong with that. Excellent.
So, I mean, if I may, as soon as now that we're going to have a beer named after us, I think we may have jumped the shark.
Oh God, you got to go there. It's always, man. I wish we were interviewing Keegan at Walt Whitman when he said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Oh, I wish
You
we
know-
were interviewing somebody else
Yes,
right
yeah.
now. Not a big deal, Dave. Cool, man.
There's a little bit of an inside joke.
I guess I'll just fuck off now.
Yeah, all right. Man,
Go join that party outside. They got cheap
do anything
champagne. Let's
right.
do this, baby.
Bro, 2 seconds ago we
Oh,
had
I
a beer
told him.
named after us,
I
and now
told
we
him
got
we're-
nothing.
I did right. We went from me dying happy to miserable and alone.
Brewers are bipolar. What do you want?
Well, it's all right. We're gonna go crash that party that's out back.
Sweet.
You know what's funny is I used to be in radio, and I used to do live events, and one of the events I would do was trivia. So,
Oh, I remember that. Did you do that next door at?
no, I did it. I only did it at one place in my short career, which was the Log.
Jam.
No,
in
Log.
Lake George.
Great
Lager
restaurant.
House?
Lager House.
Never heard of it.
Lager House.
Logger?
Or LAG.
Lager.
Oh,
Lager. Lager House. I believe it was on it's where.
Are you sure where it is? Did you work there? Can you tell us?
I didn't. Well, it was off the Circle.
I worked there and I forgot where
Tipsy
it is.
Moose.
Ah,
That's what it is now?
It's the Tipsy Moose now. So what I would do is I would go, and as I was doing trivia, I've always watched people do trivia at other places. You don't ever see them. They're like hiding in a corner. Like, who was the third amigo in, whatever. So, like, they're...
Dusty Bottoms.
Yeah.
Was that Chevy Chase?
Yes, it was.
Ned Niederlander. Then I found out about trick photography.
I don't even know
You
that
say it is a plethora?
Do you know what a plethora is? I am still here, El Guapo.
What a great, terrible movie that was.
The Singing Bush.
God,
Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. Guys!
The name of the bad guy was El Guapo. Come on. Seriously, you weren't even trying.
Just wait till the next time Nikki is around here. We're going to sing you and dance you My Little Buttercup. It's going to be very embarrassing. My Little Buttercup.
Oh, my God. Yeah, people don't realize that was they think it's a dumb movie, but it was really pretty funny.
It was good.
It's top 5 comedies
It
for
was
me.
funny. I wouldn't put it in the top 5, but it was definitely more humorous than I gave it credit for.
Anyway, long story short, I would go around, I'd work the tables, I'd go talk to people.
Oh, yeah, we're getting back. You were talking about something about you.
Yeah, me. The most important person to
in the
me.
world.
To you. Yeah.
What do you got planned for another beer after this?
So you want to hear about what's also back there in the tanks?
I think we all would.
Yeah. All right. So we're bringing back our Mohawk Sunset New England IPA.
Nice.
We're bringing this one back. Bigger, more hops.
Bigger, fatter, uncut.
Yeah. Just throw more hops in it, make it stronger. It started out as a 7% beer. We're bringing it back at 7.5. Our little boy's going through puberty. He's growing up a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit stronger, and we're throwing even more hops in it because you just can't
have enough hops, huh?
I keep on thinking I'm going to hit that point of diminishing returns, and it just hasn't happened yet. So
keep at it.
Yeah. Just keep on decreasing my yields and throwing more hops in, and basically we're gonna be looking at, like, I don't know, it's going to cost us $10 to make a pint of beer that we're going to sell for $8. So come on down to Mad Jack, where we're always losing money.
Business opportunity.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I just screamed in the mic there.
That's all right.
It happens.
So we have a New York State, 100% New York State ingredient beer coming up as well.
Oh, sweet.
That we're splitting into 2 batches.
Now, what they call this? Farm something beers?
I actually don't know.
What's his name? I think at Harry, I think you mentioned it has to have at least 60%.
Yes,
New York.
Yeah, that's the current requirement. You have to have 60% New York hops and 60% New York grain in there. But we're hitting ours with 100% because if you're going to do it, just go all the way
Proud
with
to
it.
be a New Yorker.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
now the hops are grown here in New York State.
Yep.
Do you know where in particular?
We got these particular ones from Eden Farms.
Which is located where?
I believe it's... yes, beautiful New York Eden Farms in northeastern Pennsylvania. Welcome to Scranton, everybody. But, no, I believe it's out towards Fredonia.
Oh, no, I just didn't know because, I want to say I read that hops grow in a particular climate between particular degrees of latitude.
And we are actually...
we are within that, right?
New York was actually the hop leader before Prohibition in the country for hop growth.
Is that why Budweiser used to be near Cooperstown, New York? I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
If you go to Cooperstown, obviously from here, and people will know this, you go by the original Augustus Busch compound.
Oh.
The Bushes, I believe they might still maintain that home. I'm not positive.
Man.
But I know, don't quote me on this same deal. Maybe this gets cut. But I had heard the reason that they were Germans, obviously. Germans always want to bring beer wherever they go. And I had heard that particular area, those valleys, were conducive to hop growth. That was one of the reasons they settled there. I could be wrong. Obviously, eventually they went out to St. Louis.
Yeah.
So, maybe they found better conditions there, better water. Probably
They did not
taxes
find
in New
better
York
water.
drove them right the heck out of here.
That's probably
I haven't taken the tour at Busch Gardens in a long time, so I can't actually attest to what
I don't know.
happened there,
I wanted to look that up to see if if that was true. But I always assumed that hop. That Central New York is is conducive to hop growth.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
See, maybe that's why
we're on the perfect latitude for it. You look at a lot of places along the same geographical area over in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, they're the hop leader right now. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and they're just killing it.
It seems to me that if they're conducive to growing here, and there's such a huge market for hops, maybe New York needs to get on the ball here.
It already has grown leaps and bounds over the past several years, since you want to say mid 2000s, since the quote unquote craft beer revolution. Has been growing. There's more and more farms popping up all the time, and farms that have been in operation, have definitely started to increase their planning and stuff like that. I mean, you head out to Indian Ladder Farms out there,
by Thatcher Park.
Yep, out of Thatcher Park area. If you head out there and talk to Paul Dieter or Scott Veltman out there, I mean, they'll tell you, and they could probably show you pictures of what the hop yard looked like 10 years ago as compared to what it looks like now. I mean, they're killing it out there. So
maybe we should look into that
for sure.
Oh, I absolutely recommend heading out there and talking to those two about.
It could be very interesting, especially for our listeners, because hoppy beer is such a.
Actually, you might want to consider that soon. Their apple picking season open to the public starts September 5th.
Wow!
Oof.
So if you got out there and got out there on a Friday afternoon before the crowds come in or something, you can sit out in the beer garden there.
That would be nice.
It's picturesque. It
really
sold. Is nice.
Well, I mean, you just go up to Thatcher Park, you want to see picturesque.
Plus, you get to drink some cider too. It's not just
always
beer.
Always a good thing.
Yeah, love a good cider.
Now, speaking of cider, did you guys ever think about doing a hard cider? I mean, now I don't know what the process is to make a hard cider. Maybe it's not the same as a beer.
To my understanding, what we have here is a New York State microbrewery license, which we have to have at least 51% malt product.
Okay.
To be able to do that,
which precludes making.
So I could make something
cider
akin to an apple beer, but
okay.
That would be like 49%, pressed apple cider juice. Or kind of thing, but I would not be able to make a strict cider. Yeah, so
might
there's
be something to think about.
Different laws and regulations in the state. You'd have to think about whether or not it's worth it to you.
You think about it too. I'm trying to think of a brewery out there that can do both cider and beer.
You'd have to, like you said, you'd have to have your license.
Yeah, you would actually be well suited going back and talking to Tom and Harry over at Great Flats about this, because with a New York State brewer's license, I believe they might be able to.
Okay.
I can't say absolutely for sure, not having one myself, so I haven't really looked into it, but I think they can.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's not up to me.
No.
So.
Well, I was just thinking about it, because 1911, only ciders.
Yeah.
Strongbow, only cider. 9-Pin, only cider. There's a New York. Thank you. Who else?
Oh, yes, you are the man. You are a gentleman. And a scholar.
And if Bill doesn't come back, we can steal his.
Oh, that's right. It's
I
just
forgot about his.
I didn't.
It was
You've
never
been staring
here.
at it.
It was never here.
And I was never here.
Oh my God.
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
Oh, when James Earl Jones comes in and
presses the button.
That's right. Man, I haven't. And we will listen to their rock and roll music.
Give me a ping for Salah. One ping only.
Yeah, why does a Russian have a Scottish accent?
It's amazing how Russian has a Scottish accent.
Sean Connery and Arnold Schwarzenegger are the only two actors who can play whatever the hell they want, and you just don't question it.
You don't even care.
Oh, God.
I love that movie. That's a great movie, by the way.
It really is.
It's too bad that, what's his name? Alec Baldwin didn't continue with that. Although Harrison Ford made a great Jack Ryan.
Clear and Present Danger was
also
an awesome film.
Great movie. It's Patriot Games was also also pretty good.
It's Tom Clancy books.
Some of All Fears.
Yeah, but let's not go there. All
right, we won't go there.
What about the Jack Ryan?
I don't know. I just can't buy. I don't buy John Krasinski as. I mean, he's such a goofball. Like, do you really?
He's always going to be Jim.
He's Jim. I'm sorry. He's
Jim.
You're going to be like, that's Jim from The Office, and it's never going to be different. You just look at him, and you expect Pam to come around the corner.
Watch 13 Hours. Yes, that's the Oktoberfest.
Billy's back in the mix, and he's trying the Oktoberfest.
Ah, damn it!
So
we were
lighter in color.
We don't get that beer now.
Yeah. Lighter in color this year, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's not all the way there.
We were eyeing it to see if you came back.
Yeah, you almost lost it. You were just about to lose it.
It'll do.
I love his Oktoberfest too. A little sweeter.
Yeah.
A little sweeter.
Yeah, you
too,
got like
right?
a little toffiness or caramely.
Yeah, a little caramel.
Yeah.
Munich malt, Vienna malt.
Not fully carbonated yet, though.
No,
right?
definitely
So
not.
that's
No, it's still sitting back in the fermenter. So it needs a few more days.
So this is the type of beer that you'd hit right at the end with the CO2, right before your.
Yeah, just to top off the carbonation
Yeah,
levels,
all right.
get it to about more stereotypical.
I can't wait to drink this at 20 North. What do you think?
Oh wow! There's the pressure.
Oh, another shameless plug. Here we go.
Yep. There's the pressure. I don't know. Do we want to go with the Oktoberfest? I mean,
Do you know what I
Where-
paired?
what are you going to do with that berry beer? Can I get one of those half kegs? What if you give me a sixtel?
I could possibly do that. Yeah.
You know,
So,
you got
geez.
six sixtels. Or wait, I don't know.
How about 5
6.
after the losses?
Oh, yeah?
So, well, the fruit puree and everything
stuff at
else,
the
all
bottom.
the yeast. Yeah, you don't want to drink that. So, I mean, unless you enjoy.
What do you guys do with
shitting
the-
your pants? So,
Nope. What do you guys do with
Love
that
it.
leftover stuff?
spent grain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Spent hops. That actually all goes to a farmer.
Really?
Yep. He lives on the other side of Balsam Lake. He's got about 20 head of cattle and probably about 10 or 11 pigs.
Was that the Buckley farm?
No, I forget the name of the actual farm itself. I wish I could give him a plug right now, but shoot. Yeah.
Prettles
I can't
Ranch?
think of his name.
Was
Yeah.
it? Is it Prettles
No,
Ranch?
it's not. No.
Well, his name's Brian Skarka. He's not going to listen to this podcast, so I'll just throw him out there.
He might not have internet there.
Yeah, he might not. He might not.
Podcast. What does it taste like? By the way, do you know what I'd pair this beer with?
Everything.
Your steak sandwich.
You think that would go? What makes you think it would go?
The
with steak
Marcella
sandwich?
and this.
You think so?
The yeah.
Ooh.
You're giving our secrets away.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Give
sorry.
Eric's.
It's right on
Give
the menu.
Eric's.
It's right on the menu when it says. Don't worry.
Is it a new steak sandwich? It's on the menu.
No, it's a regular steak sandwich,
It's a
peppers,
delicious
onions,
steak
cheese, Marsala
I do a little bit of fish and
wine,
chips with
and
this,
marinara.
Yes.
You take the Marsala and the marinara, you mix it together, you cook the steak right in it, so it
Right.
gives it that really
Yep.
good tangy. Something a little different than your traditional steak sandwich. But now we are shamelessly plugging my restaurant. That's not what I wanted to do
Well,
in this
We've
cast.
spent the past 2 hours shamelessly plugging ours. So.
Oh, I'll gladly do it.
Well, that's what we're here for.
That's why we're
I
here.
guess.
I'm hoping all 6 of you out there will come down here.
Yes.
And
Have
drink,
we checked the
drink
Nielsen
Mad
ratings
Jack.
on this podcast yet?
Yeah,
What are
is
the,
it possible to
what
have a negative Nielsen rating? I mean, we owe rating to whoever hands it out. Even my mom doesn't want to listen to
Oh,
it.
man.
It's embarrassing.
He told me
She's
last
like,
yesterday his mom hates it.
She's heard enough.
Can I give you some advice on your podcast? My dad looks at her and goes, don't do it.
Wait a minute. George Negrini.
George Negrini.
George, letter to the editor Negrini.
Oh, yes. I forget. These people, the Gazette people, probably know who he
They
is.
know him. Oh, yeah.
My God.
Is that why you got the stink eye from all those people as they walked in?
Possibly. I don't know. I try not to associate myself.
Yeah.
Like, I thought about changing my
I mean,
name.
Nice
they're-
job.
those are all the print format people just sneering down their noses at you
He's
at this new podcast format. So,
Yeah, I tried to tell him what a podcast was. He looked at me like just like the guy from the whatchamacallit.
The farm?
From the farm. He looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, a podcast? What the fuck is a podcast?
Where do you buy that at?
I remember.
He goes, I can't write in to anybody and complain
he goes-
about something?
He goes, I can't hear anyway, so what good is a podcast? He's deaf. It doesn't really do much good for him.
They make podcasts in sign language now?
I'm gonna have to get him. I'm gonna have to get him in Braille.
Yeah.
I'm going to pour some more champagne. I'll be back.
I'll take some.
When are we drinking the next beer? Is there anything else left?
I think that's
it.
yeah, we did
I
the
can-
something
I can-
old, something new, something blue,
Something
right?
blue,
Or
yep,
whatever.
something
Yeah,
borrowed.
You
Yeah.
have two news.
Now I got a question. This might not make the podcast, but you currently have a Dutchman beer.
Oh, he loves the Dutchman. It's
No,
be coming back
it's the
soon.
ale.
He loves Dutchman ale.
You always want to change it to the lager, and I go crazy. Now, I'll give you credit. The Dutchman lager isn't. I like it, but the Dutchman ale, you nailed it. You nailed it so well.
You never made it.
Man.
If I had to pick one
We did.
beer
We
to
did it.
just drink,
Yeah.
if I had to pick like one beer that I had to drink with like food, everything, I couldn't. That would probably be my choice right there. That beer was
Man.
that good.
Chill, here you go.
That Dutchman ale nailed it.
Well, I'll tell you what, all the
Now,
malt.
granted, I know it wasn't your recipe. I'm pretty sure it was Sam's recipe.
I think it was Sam's recipe, yeah.
I'm giving
Mr.
him credit.
Pagano.
Yeah.
Oh,
let me tell
shoot.
you.
I forgot we got to do that one thing there before you guys leave. So I'd actually, we have a little mini kegerator here in the front of the bar for everyone who can't see it. We actually, we hooked it up to a keg of ruby red grapefruit juice.
Okay.
And we have actually been serving the washed out Belgian white that has a little bit of grapefruit peel along with all the other stuff in it. And we've been
serving 3/4 pints of that, and then topping it off with a little sploosh.
I'm in.
Just a little sploosh.
I'm
of grapefruit
definitely
juice,
in if you guys want to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
So.
Now,
just a fun little variation. It's not quite a full like Radler or Shandy.
I was just about to say that's like
know?
a shandy. You
Yeah.
know, when you get like now everybody probably knows the one shandy that everybody Leinenkugel.
Leinenkugel.
I believe is like maybe 5-6 beer and lemonade. Is that what it is?
I mean that is kind of traditionally you would do like a half and half kind of thing.
Oh, it would be that much.
Yeah, if you do some. For anybody going to Price Chopper or Glenville Beverage or anywhere around here, you've probably seen Schofferhofer. Those bright SC Offerhofer. Yeah. But they're typically supposed to be 50% wheat beer and 50% a carbonated juice or a carbonated lemonade kind of thing.
Now, let's say this: like, if it's half and half, you got a beer that's, let's say, 5%. Mm-hmm. You're adding juice. You're losing a lot of your beer percentage.
Yes, you are. So the Schofferhofer, I think, clocks in at like 2.3.
So maybe you want to start with a heavier beer, like a more gravity. Is that the correct term?
No,
you want beer with more alcohol content because you're going to be cutting it with juice.
You would probably just say like a higher alcohol beer. Higher gravity doesn't necessarily
apply to that situation.
Well, I mean, depending on how the yeast works out. I mean, the yeast can crap out pretty early and leave you with a pretty low alcohol beer with a lot of residual sugar left in it. So, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would say it like that, but yeah. But yeah, in any case, I tried to do a little bit of research as to what to call this, and there's just a lot of conflicting information out there. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. I've heard that from Abraham Lincoln once.
My dad.
Yeah.
Internet. What does that taste like?
What the hell is that?
As to the actual difference between a Radler and a Shandy, I just know that Radler means cyclist in German or something like that. Shandy is a British term. And as far as colloquialisms go and stuff like that, more often than not, if you're asking somebody for a Shandy, it seems like you're asking for a lemonade beverage, and if you're asking for a Radler, it's more of a grapefruit soda mixed with beer kind of thing.
Oh, so Shandy is specific to lemonade?
No. This is just something that I feel like I've come across when I've been looking for information on the interwebs, which they have on computers now. I had no idea.
Computers.
For the life of me, I can't figure out what hyperglobal CompuNet does.
He doesn't even know what Instagram is.
Can you eat it?
Yes.
All right,
where do you buy it?
I'm going to flag Jilly down here and grab us
She looks like she's kind of busy.
Samples.
She doesn't want to deal with us schleps.
Yeah, well, she's very, very smart. So
yep. Not going upstairs is also smart.
Yeah.
I've been up there. I've been all the way up.
I actually have too. I mean, I've known these guys for a while. But, I've been all the way up there.
Nice.
And it is very scary.
Spooky.
Spooky scary.
Busted.
Is he filling those up too much?
No.
How are we going to fit grapefruit juice in there?
You only need a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Hey, Lee's the expert, so
Yeah.
we'll leave it to him.
It's literally just a
No, I
splash.
love ruby red grapefruit juice.
What's that?
I love ruby red grapefruit juice.
Do you?
Oh yeah. When you said that, I was excited. I am excited.
There might be a drug interaction for me with
There's a lot of bromine in it.
no. I take a
Are you allowed to drink this?
I don't know.
You know, I thought maybe like grapefruit, pineapple.
If pineapple doesn't kill me,
allergic.
grapefruit's not going to. But I'm pretty sure it interacts with some medicine that I take.
What, the grapefruit?
Yeah.
Really?
I have a disease called
Diabetes?
Hashimoto's. So
What's it called?
Hashimoto's.
Sounds like somebody who
I got that with a salmon roll over at J Bistro last
I was
week.
going to say, it sounds like somebody in the Fast and Furious running a little fast car.
No, my immune system thinks that my organs are like bacteria and viruses, so it attacks my body.
That is not good.
Especially my thyroid.
All right, let's try this out. This is the
washed out Belgian white.
The Belgian white.
So it's got all those previous flavors we were talking about, and then we just have probably have 5/6 of the glass is filled with that, and then we just topped it off a little sploosh, a little bit of carbonated ruby red grapefruit juice.
How do you get a carbonated ruby red juice?
I am adding the juice to a keg and basically carbonating it from there. I'm adding CO2 head pressure on top of the keg until it absorbs to the desired level of CO2 volumes. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the only way
that's
to drink
real
that.
nice.
Yeah.
It's still spicy.
Yeah, you can still. It doesn't mask the clove or the what is it? Would you say the banana and the bubblegum?
Yeah. All those nice little flavors.
Well,
that you get in there.
we were talking about the banana and the bubblegum on our previous podcast.
The banana and the bubblegum.
Yeah, I said.
Is that the name of your podcast?
Right. That's it's like weenie in the butt, banana and the bubblegum. Right. It's like
As
Crazy Ira and the douche.
Right. The douche. That was
Nick Kroll.
Nick
Parks
Kroll.
and Rec. Yeah.
Oh my! Now that show is one of my favorite shows of all time.
I love Parks and Rec.
That
you
show
might
is
have a
very
Ron
clever.
Swanson shirt on right now.
Oh, I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Ron Swanson is my idol. In case anybody was wondering, have you ever seen the poster, like the whole the pyramid of Ron Swanson?
Oh yeah. I will transform you from children into men,
Yes.
and from men into Swansons.
Skim milk, avoid it.
Yeah.
And then it says skim milk. Yes, it's on here twice. Avoid it.
There are only two haircuts you should have. Are the scissors broke in your house, son?
We were just saying earlier. Hey Ron, you busy? That's impossible. I work for the government.
Oh God.
But yeah, now I was going to joke about the bubble gum. Like I was like, it's almost like the tops baseball cards, the little
bit.
sliver of bubble gum you get in there.
God, I found a pack of those cards a couple years ago.
Did you eat the gum?
I tried. It just dissolved in
turns
my
to
mouth.
I was going to say it's like
God.
it fractures.
Crackles.
Yeah, it splits. I wonder if there's like a shelf life on that gum. Like maybe after like 30 years you shouldn't chew it.
Well, Tops and Fleer and Upper
Donruss.
Deck and all those guys.
Donruss.
Don Ross. Oh man, blast from the past.
Have you seen? Now we're totally off subject. I don't even care. Have you seen one of my employees said something about? Have you checked to see what baseball card prices are? I'm like, no, I haven't looked at baseball card prices since like 1989.
Wow,
something like that when Beckett Monthly came out. I don't know if you remember Beckett Monthly.
I used to get the monthly, and then I also had the yearly, the big boy. Yeah, that was probably like 3 inches thick. Of,
like a Bible.
Basically just like, here's what your 1952 Mickey Mantle All-Star card is worth now.
$60,000 back then.
Yeah.
You know what they sell for now? Like over $1 million.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
it's a lot of money. Anyway, I happen to look at prices of baseball cards lately are astounding. I was blown away.
Prices of a fresh pack or prices of all the old cards?
No, cards that were from our generation, the early mid
Frank
late
Thomas
80s,
and
a little maybe in the early
and
90s.
Well,
it's
listeners, today
startling.
I learned that I am a millionaire and didn't know it.
Yeah,
I got a lot of old cards.
You got some sets. I was totally shocked.
Yeah.
By the value of certain cards. Like
insane.
I was saying something, and you realize it. Generally, the card's worth more closer to the person's rookie year, and obviously the rookie card's obviously worth the most. I had some late 80s cards of like Pete Rose and Nolan Ryan, like the tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
They're still worth
Reggie Jackson, right around the same time there.
They're worth a bunch of money.
Yeah.
What's your
Like
address?
in 1980, what's my
235 Union
Street.
Yeah.
They're the Ghosts collection. He's got them upstairs on the third floor.
Let me tell you,
if you
he's
want to
not
risk
letting
the
them go.
wrath of the ghosts, all the cards you want. But yeah, like a 1986 Nolan Ryan is worth like $300.
Man.
Maybe it's got to be in mint condition, which
on the
obviously
Astros?
most of us know our cards are not.
Astros or
It was
Angels?
Astros.
in
It was
86?
Astros.
Yeah. So he went Mets, Angels, Astros, Rangers? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's it. I don't think he played for anybody else.
Yeah. Damn,
He was definitely a
so
Texas guy. He definitely chose to play for Texas. That guy could throw hard. He probably can still throw 90 miles an hour today.
Well, he's taking all that Advil.
Yeah, right. You know,
wearing those Skechers.
Yep.
Oh no, wait,
that's Howie Long. I don't know how you can mistake Howie Long with Nolan Ryan, but that's all right.
Seriously though, you see Ryan because he's what is he, part owner of the Texas Rangers?
He might be. Yeah. He might be. Yeah, he was like general manager of one of them at one point.
It was Montana.
You see him in the stands, and you're like, yeah, he could probably still strike me out.
Oh yeah, he's
no
always
doubt.
He just had one of those big lanky frames where he just could chuck the ball.
He never made a seagull explode the way that Randy Johnson did.
Have you watched that video? It's amazing.
On repeat in my head every day.
Like the whole thing vanishes.
Yeah.
Like it's there, and then it's just like 7 feathers.
Randy Johnson
Where does the
sent
bird
that
go?
Bird to another dimension.
Like he literally, I want to say he hit it so hard, he broke it up into individual molecules. Like it like vaporized. It was so bad. Like there's like you look around, like where'd the bird go? There's just some like leftover feathers on the ground.
Well, this is the one in Baltimore, right?
Oh, I
forget
where
he
went to jail. He did it twice, and the one in Baltimore, I think, is the one where he vaporizes it.
It's just vapor. It's just gone.
Yeah. Well, he got arrested for killing a bird.
Are you sure that wasn't Dave Winfield?
Oh, am I confusing? Am I mixing?
He might be. Dave Winfield killed a seagull, I think,
I think you're right.
with a throw from the outfield, which doesn't surprise me because he was like 6'6". And
Winfield was a big boy.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He was like drafted in like 3 sports.
I don't doubt
Baseball, basketball, and football.
Yeah. Winfield and Mattingly on the Yankees back in the late 80s. That was, you did not want to come up against that 3-4 in the lineup. Oh man.
I saw Dave Winfield watching. Remember the WPIX? They had all the Yankee games when you were a kid. I watched Dave Winfield hit a home run that probably never went more than like 15 feet off the ground. and it was like dead center.
Frozen rope.
It was like dead center. I want to say like right at 408. You know how he swung. He like his whole body was in it. He hit this ball so hard. I mean, I'm telling you, like the catcher and the outfielder could almost catch it. It was so low. Like not the catch, the pitcher. The pitcher and the outfielder went right over the pitcher's head, right over the center fielder's head. He literally could have jumped up and grabbed it almost. It just kept going. It was like on a rope.
Probably would have took his arm off.
Oh my God, I never forgot it.
Oh, those are the days. Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly.
My favorite player ever.
He was who I grew up idolizing.
Awesome.
I did as well.
Yeah, I love that man.
As a matter of fact, that's relevant to the conversation I had with baseball cards.
Yeah.
Everybody, you remember Dunruss when they first came out right around then, 82, 83, around there. The Don Mattingly rookie card was at one point when I was a kid worth like $90 from Dunruss. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. Then, of course, he retired and other players came along and baseball card values went in the shitter.
Yep.
Well, I looked the other day. If you've got a mint condition Mattingly rookie Dunruss, it's worth over $1,500.
Holy shit! I mean, they say Union Street. They say the 3 times. They say the 3 times that a baseball player's card will spike in value is the day he retires, the day he goes into the Hall of Fame, and the day he dies. So.
Well, so far he hasn't made it in the Hall of Fame, much to my dismay.
I think he's going to get in as a manager.
Veterans Committee, maybe?
Veterans Committee or as a manager, because he's had a hell of a manager's career so far. I mean,
he
hasn't brought anybody
mind.
all the way, but, he's going to get there.
If he does, I think that's a ticket in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you look at it, I've made this complaint with many of my friends, so if they hear this, they're going to be like, you're a broken record. But if you look at his statistics, him and Kirby Puckett have almost identical statistics. And Kirby Puckett went right in. We got Don Mattingly. Everybody from his era is in, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Ryan Sandberg, Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn.
I love Ryan Sandberg. He was good.
Kirby Puckett.
Yeah.
They're all in. And I understand, at the tail end of his career, his numbers really dropped. They really dropped.
It just sucked to see him. Like he got to the playoffs in '95, and you thought he was going to get there, And then they lose the Mariners in the ALCS round there, and then the very next year, it just pisses me off to no end that lifelong Boston Red Sox Wade Boggs comes into the team at 90, just strolls in,
wins a freaking
championship with the Yankees, and Mattingly's just left sitting on the outside watching it on TV, just bullshit. But
the year he retires.
Yep.
Something smells good. Sorry, don't mean to.
Oh yeah, it does. think somebody's
Yeah,
got
we
some
definitely
wings
need to
down
cut
there.
this part of it out. I mean, now we're just chit chatting about baseball.
I'll listen
I'm
to it. I'll
bitching
figure it
about
out. Yeah.
Don Mattingly. I'm going to use this as my podium to get Don Mattingly into the Hall of Fame. I was just at the Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact, recently.
Nice.
And Derek Jeter got inducted. Unfortunately, this whole COVID thing has unfortunately
Well, he'll do his speech next year.
ruined it.
Yeah.
But
me and my dad go down every year. We've made pretty much every induction ceremony every summer. It's always the last Sunday in August.
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's a lot of fun.
I'm in there, and my nephews are in there. They're young. They were a little too young probably to appreciate it. I got to say that the Hall of Fame is tough. It's if you're a fan, it's great, but you got to really concentrate. They got these little tiny plaque cards that you got to read, and you don't even know what's going on. For a kid, it's not very kid friendly. Anyway,
Thank you, Jill.
while I'm there, and one of the curators, I guess you would call it a curator, is there, and he's like, "Yeah, can I help you with anything?" and this and that, and I couldn't resist. I'm like, "Yeah, you can help me." I'm like, "How about getting Don Mattingly into the Hall of Fame?" He looks at me, he goes, "You and me both, brother." I go, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Absolutely." I go, "We got to do something about this." I'm like, "Do I write a letter? Do I get a petition? What do I do? I have to threaten lives to get this guy into the Hall of Fame?" I don't know what to
Start
do.
blowing things up.
Do I have to start doing stuff?
If you don't put Don in, I'm
Right.
going to kill Bud Selig.
I'll never come back
right.
here again.
Bud Selig isn't the commissioner anymore. Well, I'm going to kill whoever the new guy is.
And he's already dead.
You know what? Actually, I got a pretty good story about the Hall of Fame. I worked for ESPN Radio for a little while, and went out and we did some radio shows there over one of the weekends, the Old Timers game, and the Hall of Fame took me down into the archives.
Really?
I got to hold a jersey from Babe Ruth's, one of his jerseys,
Wow.
made out of 100% wool.
Did it
That had
have
to be
George
real-
Costanza's strawberry juice all over
I was
it?
going to say, was there maybe a calzone stain on it?
I had to wear gloves. What's his name? Lou Gehrig would win all these different awards, and they used to give out pins when he would win these batting awards and stuff like that. And he actually made a necklace out of it and added some diamonds to it to give to his wife before he
That's
passed
hot.
away. I got to hold that. I stayed at the was it Sagamore Hotel or something? It's a haunted
Lake George?
hotel
Yeah.
that's there. And
In Lake George?
no, it's in
No, it's Sagamore's in Lake George.
not
You're thinking of
Sagamore.
Lake
It's like Boat
Otsego.
Landing, Yeah.
what's the name of the?
It's Lake Otsego.
Yeah, but what's the name of the?
It's right there. It's right
Yeah,
there.
The Overlook Hotel. They made
Yes.
a movie
Yeah.
about
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Had Nicholson in it. Come on.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
But I-
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
I shared a elevator ride with Ozzie Newsome, and I got to meet a famous Yankee closer.
Not Mario
Wetland.
Rivera.
Dave Rigetti,
No,
John Wetland, Goose Gossage.
why Goose Gossage? Why
Sparky
am I?
Lyle?
I can't believe I'm saying it was Goose Gossage. I
Goose
got a photo
Gossage.
with Goose Gossage.
Richard Goose Gossage,
Just
I think
the
his
bloop.
name was.
I'm so bad with names. I hate it.
Oh, it's so good.
Speaking of Wade Boggs, bitching about the fact that he won, and that we have a picture on the wall at my place of the Yankees winning that World Series, and you can actually see Wade Boggs on the horse in the picture. We have that actually. It's a the funny thing is I met him.
Doesn't he have chicken before every game? What was his
That
name?
was a true thing. Chicken,
He
chicken.
drank 70 beers on a flight from
104.
Philadelphia. Yeah,
It was 104.
Yeah. They made
which
a
I'm going to bring up in a
documentary
second.
episode on Always
So
Sunny,
yes, he
so-
was superstitious. Like I
Yeah.
guess he had a good game because he ate chicken before the game, so he'd always eat chicken.
Chicken before the
I
game,
didn't
yeah.
ask him about the chicken. Scooter did ask him about the 104. So we're at the casino, Rivers Casino, and apparently they the MLB does this little thing. So they had Wade Boggs, Jim Leyritz, obviously Jim Leyritz, and Bill Campbell, which a lot of you won't know him. He was kind of a journeyman pitcher. So they did the thing that they did some speeches and they talked about best their best stories, and people asked questions and they fielded them, stuff like that, good stuff. So things over, we're done, and now we're going out to the casino to have a drink and maybe do some gambling. We sit right down at the bar. The next thing you know, probably 5 minutes later, Wade Boggs comes in, sits down right next to us. And I'm looking at my buddy, and we're like, holy shit, it's Wade Boggs. Now, my friend Scott, when we did autographs, had asked him, he wore his Boston, the jersey that's green, that has the the Irish stuff. And like, we went up and you could ask for autographs, and he's like, Wade, would you mind signing this 104 on my jersey? And Wade Boggs said no, he wouldn't do it. But anyway, so
Scooter asked him about the 104.
Oh no, I didn't ask him. He basically said, would you sign 104 on my jersey? He goes, no, I'm not doing that. So now we're out, and like I lean over, I'm talking to Scooter, and I'm like, holy shit, we got a chance to party with Wade Boggs. This could be really cool. We got a room upstairs. Next thing you know, we're like, this is going to be cool. So we're there sitting with him for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, chit-chatting. And I lean over to Scooter. I go, I know we talked about how awesome it would be to party with Wade Boggs, but how do you think we can figure out some way to ditch Wade Boggs? Because this guy is lame. And I was so proud of that, and like just saying that, I'm like, I'm so happy because I'm such a Mattingly fan, and I hated Wade Boggs. It was almost a vindication of being like, you know what?
That's beautiful.
Oh, and it was so funny. Like, we need to figure out some way to lose this guy. We need to cut him loose.
We're talking baseball because of the kid from Shenandoah pitching. Is that what you guys started?
What?
No,
we were talking. We were just bullshitting. I mean, we're
because that kid from Shenandoah was making his
starting.
Yeah, against Ian Anderson.
Making his debut?
Right now. Yeah, he's on there. Jump for the Braves.
I actually got to get moving here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's totally fine.
I thought this podcast goes till 8 o'clock tonight.
I did not realize what time it was, and I got some shit to do. I'm so sorry.
I have no idea. What time is it?
Big Show's off the hook.
We were supposed to be done like at 3. It's 4:30.
We'll have him and my dad on. We'll have the Big Show and we'll have my dad and the Big Show on.
Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, we probably do need to cut.
All right, that's it for this podcast. I want to take the opportunity to thank both Brian and Billy over at Mad Jack Brewing in the Van Dyke. Thanks again, guys. It was a blast.